Welcome to the Independent Artist Podcast, sponsored by the National Association of Independent Artists.
Also sponsored by Zapplication. I'm Will Armstrong, and I'm a mixed media artist.
I'm Douglas Sigwarth, glassblower. Join our conversations with professional working artists. Yeah, I'm not sure how good I'll be today, but we'll give it a try.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody. Douglas, what do you got, 5 or 10 minutes in you?
I don't know. This is definitely going to be the somewhat entertaining independent artist podcast, I think. But, maybe we'll be surprised.
I'm not crabby. Typically, it's more entertaining if I'm crabby. I'm more panicked. I feel like I'm about halfway through what I'd like to get done for the next round of shows, but
okay.
Is what it is.
Well, maybe I'm in your place today because I am feeling panicked and a little, crabby.
Oh, okay. Panicked I am. I'm just not that crabby about it. I'm crabby about other things, but, that's okay.
Yeah. We've already addressed here. We're getting ready for another big show. We've got 1 week left in the studio before we head out to Main Street. So where's your head at with all of it?
Yeah, great show, Douglas. I'll see you next time. That was a really
interesting
entertaining show. Yeah, good night, everybody. You know what? I've talked about having like a double hanging in my booth, and I haven't actually had that in a while. I've had no backstock. So what I'm trying to do is to actually have a piece and then the piece behind it that pops out.
Oh, I see.
And
I think I've kind of prepared what would when that one, if that one sells or when it sells.
Yeah,
you have
if that one sells, then I've got a replacement for it, and hopefully that should set me up going into big season. So I do feel like every time I'm trying to work, I have something that I can't. But
yeah, I'm feeling the pressure of life. It seems like this time of the year, everything kind of comes to a head. We just got back from the first kind of run of shows. We did Florida. We've had like 3 or 4 weeks to get ready for this next run, which we've done something dumb to ourselves. We lined up 4 shows in a row, which it's hard. We did it to ourselves, and it's definitely an embarrassment of riches, but it's still like we want to make the most out of it and make sure we do it well so we don't waste any opportunities. So that's kind of getting to me a little bit.
I always feel like if I'm wasting that opportunity, then I'll try to cancel. I'll just have to cancel. And talking about life getting in the way, I'm totally with you. We just had. Do you do the Easter?
We did Easter yesterday. Yeah, we did 2 Easters, so it was a lot.
Yeah, that's my wife and I went to brunch.
Okay, good for you.
Take that, Jesus. Hope you like breakfast burritos. And he does. He definitely does.
Perfect.
So yeah, happy. God, what a weird thing to celebrate. Sorry, it's not.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, for us, it seems like, I've talked about how our kids have launched, obviously, and they don't need that much from us, and we're not having to put out Easter baskets and all that crazy bullshit from years past. But now the parents kind of take over that role. You know what I mean? Like, got aging parents who one had knee surgery, other had like cataract surgery, and so we're taking the lead for them. And
put that in your Easter basket.
Exactly.
Yeah, good times.
So,
man,
just trying to get ready for shows and everything, and then still trying to keep the family happy. It's a lot.
That's the trick, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just got back from honestly, I am typically very hard on myself. I never think, I never think I do enough for my kids. I never think I do. I'm like, people are like, oh, you're a great dad. I'm like, no, I'm okay. Fine. Mm-hmm. Is kind of how I always feel in my head, except this one time. I think I just got back from a trip. My daughter and I just took, it was on spring break, and we toured colleges that she's either accepted to or waitlisted. And we had a fantastic trip. We squeezed 6 tours into 5 days.
Wow.
6 campuses.
Mm-hmm.
So we were up in the Northeast and touring around there.
Did her mind change on any of them? Like, did she learn some information that made her feel excited about a certain school
I wish
or not?
we'd kind of done it before she'd applied. So that part I didn't, we didn't necessarily nail, but we'd seen all of she really didn't know where she wanted to go. And so she was looking at these major areas. She was looking at the Pacific Northwest, Southern California, and then the Northeast.
Mm-hmm.
And so her mom had taken her to a great Pacific Northwest tour. I took her to California and some of Arizona and New Mexico. And then I took her to the Northeast. And the Northeast was, kind of what she'd had her heart set on and was thinking about. But, Maine is a really weird place.
Is it? How so?
Yeah. It's super working class. It's very down to earth kind of, it's not really cute college towns. It's working class, working towns.
Okay.
And so you go to these, and some of them actually have animosity towards the colleges that are there.
Really?
She had been to some of these other cities and towns that have incredible college towns, and she just kind of figured that's what all of them would be like.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a little bit of a kind of a rude awakening, but by the time we kind of wrapped our heads around it, she had a better perspective.
Man,
so
that's far. That is far, all the way out to Maine from.
Yeah.
Geez, I mean, I don't even have that as a reality, because when I went to college, it was like an hour and a half from home, and my kids went to college in this hometown, their hometown here with us, and I don't know. I think that would be pretty hard for me as a parent to be like, okay, I'm sending you. How much is that? 2,000 miles away, or
yeah, it's about as far as you can get, you know. And not an easy plane ride either. It's
Really?
not super easy. Well, that's not entirely true. We flew into Newark, which is I don't know if you've ever been to Newark, Douglas.
I have not.
Worst city in the United States, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going for it. I did it. Yeah.
You did it. You saw it.
It's just a dump. There's nothing good about Newark. The airport is ridiculous.
Even aside from all the TSA stuff going on now, or is it just?
Well, we chose Newark because it wasn't really affected
Okay.
by the TSA stuff. LaGuardia, which is where our original flight was going into, had like a 4.5 hour wait through to TSA. So we picked Newark and spent the night in Newark. I mean, if you're going into Newark, and I kind of knew this going in, I dated a girl from Montclair when I was in college, and you go into Newark to see her during the summer or whatever, and your object is to get out of Newark as quickly as you can. Like that's like you got Newark and then Gary, Indiana. If you've ever been through Gary, that would be the Midwest version of Newark. But
okay,
it's almost like for some reason, like these big cities need their border towns.
Yeah.
One of the things that we always say is, or that people say to us that they find appealing, is that we don't sugarcoat. We say exactly what we're thinking, and people, our listeners, appreciate our honesty. And if you're from Newark, I don't
sorry,
apologize.
That's what you think.
I don't apologize. It's you live in a shithole. It is a shithole. So anyway.
So many places to go with that, but I don't know what to say on it. So.
The opinions expressed on the Independent Artist Podcast are the views and, solely blah, blah, blah. Etc.
Right. So, life stuff. I mean, last year I was talking about my kid graduating from college, and, this year it's all parents. It's all like, we've got aging parents who we don't think can stay in their home much longer. So we have to start figuring out what to do there. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to be like, sorry, we have to leave for a month now, because it's kind of like we have to stay on top of that and find out somebody's got to cut the grass. Somebody's got to take care of things. You know what I mean? And it's kind of turning into our job.
You could move to New Mexico and make your sister do it.
Right.
No, that is particularly hard now that, my mom she's 100%. She's amazing. She'll, the way I feel about my mom is that she'll outlive us all. She does Pilates and takes care of herself and eats right and walks the dog. And, but since my dad passed, suddenly it has been, there's nothing I want to do more than to get back there and spend more time there and help her out. And I just can't. So,
and I do think about that. I mean, that did come to my mind about, what you've gone through this year, and to be like, they're not going to be around forever. So I don't want to just gloss over things and be like, take for granted the fact that Easter always happens over at their house, or, you know what I'm saying? It's like, in some respects, this life on the road is like we do our thing. We make our work. We're so focused on that. And then we are getting it in the van and thinking about what we're going to show at our next show. And then we go off and we're just gone focusing on ourselves. And, the kids at some point turned into a point where they're like, yeah, don't focus on me so much. I'm okay. Leave me alone. So now it's like now we have other family members to focus on. And I don't know. It's just a lot to deal with when you don't want to feel like you missed something, like it's gone, and you wished you would have been there for more of it. So I'm a little pulled in that issue right now lately.
I'm not ever. I have missed 2 big weddings. My niece and nephew's wedding. Is it your nephew once they marry in, or is that like a nephew-in-law situation? Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
I will never forgive myself for missing that. And it was, you get yourself into this headspace where you're like, I can't miss this show, and now I'm like, yeah, I can. And so I told Susie, I'm like, I'm not going to miss anymore.
Yeah.
And I really shit the bed on that one. That was a big mistake. And, but you get yourself wrapped up into these things where you're like, man, I cannot miss this weekend. I cannot miss that weekend. And I canceled one last year because my daughter specifically asked me if we could, after a freaking freak hospital visit that previous week, was like, Daddy, I only want to have my birthday party at your house. I don't know why she turned into an English peasant, but
you're like,
if you want anything from me, turn into an English peasant. It's the best way to get your way.
Well, when I text you the schedule for when we can record again, I'll try and inflect some kind of an English peasant into the texting
that's a solid move. Yeah, that'll be your play. William, please. This application needs their episode. Oh man, they are talk about. I don't that I joke about that, but talk about they're not really our bosses. They are the sponsors of the show, and talk about freedom. They have given us complete freedom with this, and no one has ever said boo to me about unless maybe one of them is from Newark. They might change their tune, but
there you go.
Right.
So we're like, okay, now that you went a little too far on.
Too far.
But hey, how many when you book a schedule for yourself? I don't think I've ever heard you say you do 4 in a row, but how many can you do reasonably? Like if you set out in the van and having enough work, how many can you do?
I think 2. Juggling with my ex-wife and the kids, juggling schedules there, or if Susie's doing a show, or like I kind of look at it like right now we are different than you guys too. Mm-hmm. Like I have 2 in a row. Mm-hmm. While Susie's home. Mm-hmm. And then I get home, unfortunately, and this is just the way the year has worked, and our schedules do not sync up.
Wow.
So that's a huge, huge bummer. I don't know. You count on doing that, you count on dinners together. You count on
the life stuff too. It's, I was, when I asked the question, I was thinking specifically about the business side of it, like how much can you fit in the van? But then there's that other part of like, well, getting home and doing the home stuff. That can't just, like when we go, we can just go because we're together. But if your situation, if you guys, their schedules don't match, you can't just like leave home, and you got dogs too, right? Doesn't that add a complication to things? Yeah.
2 dogs and children, relationships, everything, all of the different balls up in the air. And we don't always nail it, that's for sure. But I would do the best you can and try to gauge what's important. And then 2 months after the fact, you figure out what you fucked up.
where you want to do the do-over.
Yeah, and what you did wrong. And the best you can do is to put yourself in the situation for the most success. But there are shows that I want to do that are back on the East Coast. After going all the way to Florida, man, that just
wiped you out.
That drive was just awful. And it's not awful till you get to the the taint of Florida, Oh, I'm sorry, the Panhandle. And you're driving across
to the Newark of Florida.
Right. What is the Newark of Florida? Anything central.
Yeah.
Yeehaw Junction. That would be it.
I think we can do 2 solid, like if both shows really rock it, I think that's about what we can fit for inventory and work in the van. If we have 3 kind of so-so averagey, but then we might have to be like, oh, we're going to have to send ourselves some work we've got made at home to fill in around.
If you had all the work in the world, that wasn't a deal, if you were a photographer,
boom,
print, and didn't have to actually make it, you could just print it and say it was done.
Right.
Yeah, I said that.
You did.
Said it. Okay, rewind it. Play it again. If you had all the, and you could just do that, and it wouldn't take you much to reload. How many do you think you could do on your body and mentally? Because mentally is what gets me, because by the 3rd show in a row, and I'm worried about this one because I'm doing 2, like I've got a 4-day show and then like 3 days off and then a 3-day show before setup goes again. What can you do there?
It's hard to say. I mean, this one of the reasons we decided to do the longer run was because one of the shows in the middle of it is Jazz Fest. And Jazz Fest has a way of kind of recharging your batteries, just because the weekend we got, the musical acts are freaking amazing. I mean, they're like our list of favorites on the first weekend, and we got it. And we're like, well, even if we go and don't, even if we go and have a shitty show, not that I'm like advocating that, it's still going to be almost like a vacation weekend, I think. You know what I mean?
That remains my, like, the holy grail of art shows for me. That is the one, I think that's the one show I've never gotten. My wife is skilled enough to have been selected for this year. We unfortunately will miss you guys.
So you're the second weekend, right? Or she's the second weekend?
Yeah, for sure. And what I love about the show too is, like, you can go down the headline list and pick and you're going down the headline list and you're like, holy crap, it's David Byrne, and it's
right.
Who else is there that weekend?
Stevie Nicks. We've got St. Vincent. So Ani DeFranco, for crying out loud. Ani DeFranco, love her.
She's on the tour, on the kind of festival circuit again.
Is she?
She's playing another one that my kids don't listen to this podcast, so I can tell you. But we got tickets for them to go to a couple of different festivals, or one festival and then another artist that they like. But it's what's amazing to me about that show is that it's not like, you can look at weekend 2 and be like, I don't like the Eagles. Be like, all right, get over yourself, Billy. Because down here in this tent are 25 different bands in a row that are just this insane New Orleans jazz or blues. So it's an embarrassment of riches, like you said. So.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, like you said, though, if it were just like show, and like these spring shows, well, I guess there are longer shows all year round, but when it's a longer show where it's like 3 or 4 days and then you got a setup day in there, it literally feels like you're working all week, and then there's a drive day or something. And that can get pretty tiring and wearing on the whole psyche too. It's like, I just want to be home. I just want to be making work. I don't want to be out here.
Will you fly home in between, or do you guys stay out?
Well, this one, the way we're navigating this one is our third one in the run is going to be in Kansas City. So that's about an 8-hour drive home. So we're going to run home, fill up the van, and then get up the next morning and head out to the 4th show. So that's going to be kind of, I mean, we're actually going to shut off our whole studio. We're turning off the furnace, which we never do. But
wow.
A month of not being in the studio, if we have that thing running, that's $1,000 just to keep it running. That's the energy on that furnace. The trade-off is when we get back, it's an entire week to bring it up to temperature, to get glass into it before we can even work. So it's not like we can come home and just get to work in the studio. There's going to be like a big delay process, but that's what we're going to do this time. That's just the way we're going to work it.
Man, that reminds me a lot of what I just went through. I was working on something, and I've got these, really fine point ink pens that I'll do my line work with, and one of them ran out of ink. So I had to reach over and grab a different one.
Yeah, I got you there. Yeah, so much
Gosh.
infrastructure that you have to deal with. I mean, jeez.
God. I didn't like it. I liked that pen because I had it.
Yeah. But
it's the same kind of pen.
Okay,
so
whatever,
I didn't really
Armstrong.
notice when I grabbed
I'm just
a new
like
one.
I'm glossing that over now because poor baby is all I'm thinking.
Shit.
Yeah.
This episode of the Independent Artist Podcast is brought to you by Zap, the digital application service where artists and art festivals connect.
So I've started using the events list feature in Zap to search up some different shows to fill those holes in my schedule.
You know, I feel like I should have something to say, but I wasn't really listening to you because I'm looking at the events list right now, and it's pretty cool.
Okay,
so you drop the menu down, and there at the bottom, go scrolling all the way, about third thing down in the smaller print, it just says events list.
That's right. All of the shows appear here regardless of their application deadline. You can use the filtering and the sorting to narrow down your search so that you can find that right show that fills your desired time frame or location.
I know a lot of people love that calendar. I like seeing the list of events. I like scrolling through and doom scrolling late at night. It's like online dating. They don't let you swipe left or right, but you can figure out who you want to date in the coming up year. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a call for entry this week. This show is in the very popular Fort Worth area. Douglas, what's the name of the show?
This is the Art Worth Festival, and it's a celebration of fine art, fine craft, and classical music.
Very cool. You know, this one was on my radar last fall. They did have an impressive group of artists that did the show last year, and some good friends of mine.
So this show is October 23rd through the 25th. It's their 5th year, so they've got kind of those like growing pains out of the way. So now they're established, they know what worked, what didn't work, and they're moving forward.
I can't tell you how appealing that date is to me.
The application is coming due in June 14th.
And with the way we broadcast our shows here once a month, that's coming up quicker than you'd actually imagine.
They've allocated quite a large budget towards marketing. They have a media sponsor, which includes the local TV stations and radio stations, magazines, online, streaming ads, as well as 50,000 direct mailings. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities to get the word out on this one.
What this says to me, folks, is that they're committed to making the show work. Get in on the ground floor of a new show coming up here in Texas.
I think I'm going to check that one out.
You get these long eyebrow hairs. I just pulled one. It's going to be like 2.5 inches long.
That happens. I mean, how can it go from being like neatly trimmed to all of a sudden you look at your eyebrows one day and you're like, this one's like running away from my face. It's like, it's trying to reach out to the screen or something.
It starts to curl down into your eye, touch your eyelashes.
Give you a little wave. But hey, you were talking about driving home from Florida.
Yep.
So I haven't talked to you since we finished up doing Winter Park. So we did Winter Park and we haven't talked much in the past couple of weeks. And Jesus, we like the day we left, we come out to the van. It's still dark out because we were going to do like hit the road early before the sun comes up. And we didn't hear a storm or anything overnight, but we come out to the van and there's this massive branch. And it's a substantial branch that had fallen onto the front of our van. It had blown out of the tree 30 feet in the air, whatever, it's big, tall, whatever tree. I think it like actually dented up the van and left scrapes. And we're like, Jesus, whatever. So we pull it away, we get ready, we drive off. And 3-4 hours later, we have this mystery thud. Something just flies into the van. It felt like a tire. It probably was a bird.
Good Lord.
But it was loud and we didn't see it coming, and it was shocking. It was like, did we just have an accident or what? So once we figured out we were fine, nothing was wrong. We were driving next to a truck, so something must have come up over that truck and hit the top of our van. We're like, well, that's number 2. We're like, there's no way we want a number 3 here. All things come in threes, 1, 2, 3. But when we stopped to get gas, something hit the tall part just above the windshield because it left like a big dent on the part that goes up, to the 9-foot tall transit. So Anyway, sometimes you're just driving and you're thinking not a care in the world, just zoning out, thinking about nothing. And then that boom comes along and you're like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy.
Yeah. I was driving down, I was going down 95 and I was going up over this overpass and I see this hawk has pulled a gopher.
Really?
And he is, as far as the hawk is concerned, he's pulled the gopher and he's, it's this big fat ass meaty gopher.
Okay.
And a hawk is not, we're talking a hawk.
Yeah.
You know your biology like. There. You know the size difference. Yeah. Like the gopher's bigger. So he's just digging into the air, like just struggling and flapping his wings. And he's probably 25 feet in the air before he goes over the overpass. And as soon as he goes up over the overpass, all of a sudden, he's only 5 or 6 feet off the ground, and I'm barreling towards him, and I'm like, pull up! And I'm braking, but I'd been going, cruise control, 70 miles an hour. Like, pull up! And he's just like, you could see his eyes. It was so close, and I didn't even clip the gopher. He just managed to pull that freaking thing up into the air. It was insane. But can you imagine the mess of like hawk gopher combo and 70 mile per hour Ford, whatever the heck I was driving at the time?
That's probably what it was. It probably dropped a gopher right on the top of our van.
He didn't quite make it. God.
Wow.
We have, when we go up to Minnesota, we have, you guys have bald eagles up there?
Oh my God. Everywhere. We are always seeing, I mean, when we see one, we feel like it's a special moment. It's like there is like some sort of communication that's happening,
I do love the looks of them, but they're gross.
Gross? Because they're gross. Like eating deer and stuff that are dead or what?
Well, they're no better than a vulture, except they can't barf and throw acid barf at you like a vulture can. But did you know they did that?
No, I had no clue. Jeez, you know a lot about birds, grackles and hawks, and
you don't even know what a grackle is.
Still don't. I didn't even look it up. I should have chat GPT'd it, but fuck it, man.
Why do you get under my ass so much? So it's like you've never been serious. I'm going to go back because my wife too. She was like, "How does he not know what a grackle is?" But those birds that are in the trees on Main Street and.
Well, I will now. Obviously, when I'm there this next week, when I hear it, I'll be like, "That's what he's talking about." Okay, good.
You were traumatized by birds as a young boy, as a young lad.
I try and so I told everyone on the podcast last episode. I'm not going to tell it again, but this other bird story was. I don't even know if this is interesting or dumb, but...
it's very... Yeah, I got a segue. It's going to be disgusting.
So I'm young. I'm maybe like 8 years old. And we're walking... We have one of these tuck-under garages in our house I grew up in. And we walk in from the garage and we're walking through a dark basement to get upstairs. And I see what I think is my mitten that I had dropped on the floor, and I reached over to pick it up, and it was a freaking dead bird that had gotten into our house. And I picked up a dead bird in my hand and threw it and screamed. And after that, that plus the dead birds that we had gotten as a gift. That was strike 2 against the whole bird thing. So I don't particularly care for birds.
I just have like little Dougie Sigwarth in his little mittens screaming at a dead bird.
I sounded like Annie Bassoni when the when the iguana pooped on her.
Her feelings. She didn't scream really as much as she was just.
See, I imposed my own reaction onto Annie there.
You did, and there might have been some screaming, but I think it really just hurt her feelings, and that's even worse somehow. I'm not going to tell my bird story; it's too traumatic. I still don't think it's funny. There's no way to tell that story.
Okay,
I was little, right? I'm 6, 7 years old, and my dad worked at an all-girls private school.
Right.
There was the school down the street is where I went to the boys' school, and. So I got to come up, and after school was over, I would come up and hang out with my dad and kind of hang out in the office and for like 5 minutes until I'd find some other kid to play with and run out. So we're playing hide and seek in the basement of this building in the summertime, I think, and the girls aren't there. And so I run through the locker room and go to hide somewhere. And then I get an idea. I'm going to run out and I'm going to hide in this hide in the little stairwell that,
Yeah.
that goes to the outside. So I bust open this door to this stairwell
Mm-hmm.
and I run outside and I step right in the middle of a nest of birds.
Oh my.
And all these babies start squawking.
Oh.
And I'm only like 7 or 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And so my reaction is, ah, and then I start high stepping, like to get off of what I've just stepped in.
Yeah.
Stepped on every goddamn one of them.
Oh.
It's the most traumatic event of my life.
Right.
Up that point, and it was horrible and it's horrifying. And I still kind of think about it. And I'm sure there's a way to make that funny, but it's been, probably almost 50 years. I still don't
haven't
think
found
that's
a
funny.
way.
I haven't found it yet.
But were
Douglas.
the pinkies out? If the pinkies were out while you were trying to avoid them,
No, but I was probably wearing, you want to paint a picture. I'm probably wearing like knee-high athletic socks and short OP shorts. Remember those corduroy OP shorts with the flat front pockets that were popular then. And,
Okay.
I'm like, ee! And just screaming. But if you saw a video of it, you get this kid who just looked like a maniac, just high stepping it all over these birds.
No.
So, anyway, I do love birds.
Yeah.
I killed them.
Okay.
Birds.
Yeah. Sure.
Good night, everybody. It's a 30-minute show.
That's right. When we talk about birds, that's it. Hey, so I'm sitting here and I just got a text and I can share it because it is from Camille Marchese. And she's saying, what a great interview with Natalia last episode. That was a nice thing to get.
Sweet.
Perfectly timed as we're having a podcast episode right here, you and me.
Yeah. You were talking to me about how many shows and what can you do and blah, blah, blah. I went down to the Grove, Coconut Grove, had a great show. Not like groundbreaking, but just badass, awesome, good, very good sales. Just, solid, really good show. And
that's the hand gesture for a good show. It's like hands. People can't see what's happening right now, but solid. Yeah.
But it was like you should be able to do at the beginning of your season. You should be able to have a good show then go on and do another one.
Yeah.
But I had no time to kind of I hung all of my work and then realized I didn't have enough to have another show after it because I had to take December and half of January off because my dad.
Yeah.
And then I was like looking around at my collection and I'm like, I don't have anything. And it wasn't like they cleaned me out.
I started to see walls disappear from your booth.
Yeah.
I'm like, you must be having a banger show here.
But you would think, but I just wasn't. I just wasn't ready. So that's what I've been doing is I went home and I had to cancel Winter Park, and which killed me because that's a killer show, and I hadn't been back in a long time. But so it kills you to cancel things and not really know if you have enough work, and I just didn't. I didn't have enough. I also didn't have enough to that Tarzan vine to vine, one thing to the next. And typically, what I'll try to do if I have a big show is you go home and you try to replace the pieces. But I didn't have a starting point. I just didn't have anything really. So anyway,
you needed the time. I mean, you just needed the time to get ready. And this next run of 2 that you have in Texas, you need to be prepared for that. So if you short yourself earlier in the season, you're just always playing catch up the whole time. So it's a hard decision. I got into
Main Street with 2 bodies of work. I've got that kind of a Western body of work and then my typical, and I take that kind of thing. It sounds cheesy, but I take that kind of thing very, very seriously. And if I get in, I'm like, I want to have a really good representation of distinct bodies of work with a line down the middle of this. So I've had this whole booth in my head, how I want it to look. And that's going to be my goal to try to pull that off and just have a lot of brand new work and to really show up and
you've shared some really nice new pieces on your socials, and I'm really excited about. That's the second body you're talking about, right? Is the more Western themed kind of thing, and it's looking really awesome.
Thanks. And in between time, I did did I talk about the pro bono work I did last time?
No,
Have I
what are
talked
you, a
about that?
lawyer or something?
Yeah, I mean that's like kind of how I look at it. Is doing that work is just kind of giving back. And I was contacted by a writer who needed some illustration work done for a pitch deck that they're doing.
Sure.
It's something to sell a series, and they're trying to sell it to Netflix or HBO. And I really, really loved her story.
Mm.
And so I wanted to do the work. And I'm like, one of the pieces I did, there's a man holding a guitar case trying to run and jump on a train that I posted on Instagram. And that was part of it. And then that piece translates perfectly to my collection anyway. So, but anyway, I did a couple of pieces for her, and I let her have a couple of the pieces, and that kind of doing that kind of free work sometimes, if it's different enough, it can kind of reset your head into new pieces, at least for me.
Yeah.
So I really liked that. And
That's really cool.
I don't know. I was talking to my wife about it, doing things, and I think it has something to do with like, I mean, you want to go to therapy with me real quick?
Oh yeah, go for it.
You want to go?
Uh-huh.
That's all right. So, all right.
How did that make you feel, Will?
Maybe I want to fight. I want to fight you. But no, I was talking to my wife about the fact that like doing things and doing it kind of for free. And I try to do a lot with like emerging artist programs.
Yeah, totally.
And I think it has a lot more to do with, and like doing this work as an illustrator. I hadn't worked as an illustrator doing somebody else's vision since I was just coming out of college.
Yeah.
And then that made me think of that. And my illustration kind of career got shut down for me with like the world's worst portfolio review. I got out of college and asked this guy, he was a friend of my best friend's brother. And there was like 8-year gap.
Okay.
And so he was probably 30, 32. And he's the director of, do you remember this dates me? Entertainment Weekly shut them down, but it was Premiere Magazine.
Okay.
First.
Yeah.
It was like, that was the big movie rag. It was a really glossy magazine. It was kind of like Rolling Stone, except for movies.
Right.
And he was the art director there and just eviscerated I got an appointment with him.
Okay.
And just because he was a friend of a friend. And he just ripped me to the point. Like I swear to God, I don't think I illustrated anything. I don't think I drew anything. I didn't do a thing for myself for like 10 years.
You're kidding.
Like I just was like,
that had that big of an impact.
Wow. Huge. Yeah. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how nasty he was. But anyway.
How did you shake it off?
Just
time? Enough time to come back to it? Or?
Really, that and the economy was, in 2008, I guess, it started to really just tank. And so I had free time. And I don't know, you get a little bit older and you stop caring what people think.
Yeah.
And, you try to do your own stuff. And I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of why I was so late, mid-30s, I guess, by the time I started doing this body of work and doing the stuff that I really wanted to. But the economy crashing did me a huge favor. And I think I've told that story before, but like had a whole new body of work and started jurying into shows and got into better shows than I had been getting into with the previous stuff that I'd been doing. But
well, at the beginning of this year, we were talking about how the effects of like what's going on in the world is making people feel kind of dark. And Renee and I had the idea that, some of the pieces that we've made over the years, or the palettes, the look that were more colorful, we felt like neutrals were selling better. People were connecting with that. And we're like, you know what? Let's take a risk and let's put color out there and let's just see how people react to it. I'm happy to say it went over really well. I kind of feel like there is still an element of people who are like, well, I have to live with this and I want it to like match my decor. But on the other hand, the people who saw these colorful pieces who ended up buying them from us in, different settings or whatever, we had a couple different sets, were like, they bought them like as soon as they saw them. Like it had such a visceral reaction that
Mm-hmm.
it was a rewarding feeling to know, to take that risk and to try something new and to trust instincts and to have it rewarded. Because that doesn't always happen. I mean, there's a lot of times, you go, let's try this new and see what happens. And then you sit with it and you're like, well, that was a fail. But
Do
to have
you have do you have it in your heart for some good-natured ribbing?
of course, always. How kind of you to ask.
Glass artist discovers color and realizes it can be successful.
No, I mean, we've always done color. I mean, that's kind of our roots.
You absolutely have, and I'm just teasing you, but the new work is, to me, it's dynamite.
Thanks.
I mean,
thanks.
it does stop you in your tracks, and you guys have brought something to the color that brings in some of the subtlety of your previous work.
Mm-hmm.
That is the skill of bringing in that kind of, it's almost like learning how to draw before you can make an abstract painting. It's almost like you guys have created the subtlety within your work, and that now that you've brought the color to it, it's like just brings it over the top for me personally. Wow. So that's really, if you guys are used to Renee and Douglas's work, then definitely stop by and interrupt him when he's in the middle of a sale, because they don't need sales right now. They're it's way too successful.
Praise.
That's right. Just praise. No, it's pretty badass to see. So
that's cool. That means a lot. And now I feel like I was fishing for a compliment there, but no, I just more or less.
Now that we've stroked each other's egos.
But so our last show was Winter Park, and it was a good experience, I will say. And it's one of those shows, if people out there haven't done it, where they really try to encourage heavy hitters, artists to apply, because they have such, a high bar for award money. I mean, right. The top best of show winner gets like a $12,000 or $15,000 purchase award.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's substantial.
It's badass.
Yeah.
So there's a lot on the line there, and you can feel when the judges are walking around and they are thoughtfully coming into everybody's booth, having conversation. It's not like jury by drive-by or anything like that. So you feel everybody is like they want to put their best foot forward.
Sure.
I always feel a little uncomfortable with the whole they're going to pull. Like the way they operate with Winter Park is they talk to you, they look at your work, the judge and the assistant walk out of the booth, and then if they're going to consider you for an award, the assistant will come back in and say, you've been chosen to have a piece pulled that you can choose, and they will consider you for an award or something. So when you see them walk away and they keep walking away, you're like, oh, it's not happening. But
right.
In other situations where they come in and they're nice and they say nice things, you hold on to the hope a little bit more that you might end up with an award, because you don't know what they're thinking as they walk away. But if they walk away and they don't come back, you're pretty much out of the running.
What about the Grove, where you can hear the award crew coming? It's like, I don't even know. Yeah. It sounds, was it bagpipes? And
there were bagpipes. Yes.
We're walking by you. You are not chosen. And I'm like, and then they stop at like your next 6 neighbors in a row, and you're like, award for you, award for you, award for you.
How about when you're neighbors with perpetual award winners, and you're like, you kind of just go to yourself, oh yeah, they're stopping at Helen Gottlieb's booth. Oh, next they're going to stop at Callie Hopgood's booth. And then in our situation this year, they stopped at the next booth, which was our booth. And we were like, what? This is actually happening this time? So that was really a surprise that we ended up getting an award at the Coconut Grove Arts Festival. So
that's awesome. That was congratulations. Cool. Well deserved. That was, you were definitely one of the 4 or 5 in a row. That really was. That's like Dylan, and then Helen, and then you, and then Callie.
I was right in the back of the booth working with somebody, and they're like, what's all that? What's going on out front? And I'm like, it's just the awards people they're going through to give out awards. Don't worry. I'll be back here working with you for a little while longer.
Right.
And then Renee pokes her head back, and she goes, Doug, can you come up here, please? And I'm like, what? And they've always got like their entire board, and they've got the marching band and the people who juried you standing there, and you suddenly feel like you've just walked onto stage and you're like completely naked or something because they're all looking at you and you're like, what's going on? It was touching. It was a touching moment.
And is it a little rewarding sometimes when you have the awards go by and we're like, yep, had them on our show, had them on our show, had them on our show.
That's true. That's very true. It's
that
good
was
to, like we talked about last episode, having Natalia on the show, and then she won the top prize for that. So I don't even know who won the top prize for Winter Park. Do you remember?
I just assumed it was Helen.
Helen wasn't there. Helen, who wasn't at the show, actually won Best in Show.
Oh, good. Good for her. That's good. That's great work. Why not? Give it to Helen. Yeah. Just give her a call. Can you come down to this show real quick? I got something for you.
Oh my God, the wood chips at that show. I appreciate them putting down wood chips for people of nice paths to walk through the park and blah, blah. But the dust, oh God, and glass, we are constantly cleaning our work. People are like, do you really have to clean your work that much? Like, literally, it was like somebody walks by and it's like Pigpen on Charlie Brown. The dust rises and lands on the work. And
were you in the park or on the street?
We were in the park, but it was like the sidewalk along the street. So I feel like it's a really visible spot, and I really enjoy that spot. But I think next year I might have to choose a different hard. I think if we were juried in, I might want to go back to seeing if we can get a street spot. But that street spot is a morning setup. Those are
that is
hard.
Tough on you guys.
But the day before setup, we still weren't able to park very close. And, you cart 300, 400 feet away into a park, and that uneven ground is not good for my body. So I might need to go back to street, or I might have to say, as well as we sell it at a show like that, we might have to make the decision that a show that's too physically difficult for an aging body, I just can't do it. I have to start considering those kinds of decisions about what's even, appropriate for what I can physically do.
Sure. Yeah. You gotta weigh everything. It's like whether you miss your daughter's birthday, or you can't dolly 300 yards, or you can't do X, Y, or Z. It's like sometimes I know people that have as they've kind of gotten on into their career, like, look at our interview with with William Kidd.
Yeah.
I always want to call him Billy the Kid. Yeah. But it'll talk to William Kidd, and he's talking about not doing anything but Florida. I'm like, it's amazing. How great is that? And I don't know. I kind of want to get to the point. I've got part of this new body of work too. I'm kind of thinking along the lines of that Venn diagram and thinking about what I can do to sell in Texas. I love Texas, and Texas loves me, and I would love to just, as long as I'm living here in New Mexico, this travel gets so hard on you. But
so I know Texas is a big state, but how many miles is it from you? Like, what's the range between, like, say, Houston or whatever? Is it like 1,000
once you
miles?
get to Texas, it's not that big of a deal. It's still like going to the Dallas-Fort Worth area is I think 9.5 hours.
Wow, that's great.
From Santa Fe. So to me, that's
like a local show.
Well, it isn't, but I just spent my last week in the Northeast, and 9 hours would get you from Boston to Richmond. It should, but then you run into traffic. But that's a hard 9 hours. These are the 9 hours out here. You're out in the desert, and you have to contend with 18-wheelers and people moving things. But then, but a lot of times that you're out on these roads kind of by yourself, and it's not the grueling East Coast 9 hours. 9 hours from Richmond to Atlanta. That's always kind of hard. You got to get through certain cities, and you're on 90 or 85 the whole way. And
I don't know about you, but we sometimes like to like tally our states. It's like, oh, we did 3 states today or 5 states today. So if you drive through like smaller states, you feel like you're making progress, even if it's like, 400 or 500 miles.
Right.
And then like you hit a long state and you're on there for like the entire day and you're like, I only made it through Illinois today or whatever.
Right. Well, Virginia or Kentucky, if you do them lengthwise or Texas or even. But yeah, I get you. I'm with you. I look at the, that drive to Florida, it's not bad until you get to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's
that
bonkers.
Goes on forever, right?
Forever, but then also it's aggressive driving. And that takes its toll on you. It's not, it's not Oklahoma. You get out there in Oklahoma and you're like, well, it's boring, but I haven't used my finger all day.
Yeah, of course you haven't.
We finger fatigue in Florida.
When we did 3 shows in Florida this year, and one of the last show, Winter Park, there was like a 3-week break in between the one before that, so we were able to fly home.
Yeah.
So we flew out of Fort Myers, and we had to stop back at a collector's home in Naples before we headed north to Winter Park. And so we just thought it would be like a half-hour, 40-minute drive. And we get in the van and we put it into maps, and it was like 2 hours. We're like, what is going on here? Well, there was an accident that completely shut down 75. And then if you go over to Tamiami Trail, that was like stop and go like for 2 hours. It was like there was no fast way to get to Naples from Fort Myers. And it was all because people drive like maniacs and there was a car accident or whatever and shut the whole thing down.
Yeah, it's brutal, especially once you get to South Miami, and it's a different kind of philosophy of driving. It's people think they can win,
Really, it's like you give the vehicle in front of you enough room so that if they brake, that you don't rear end them. But that seems like the perfect amount of space for a car to, inch in front of you. It's like, wait a minute.
Right. So
I keep having to back up to let people, because people pull in front of you.
You don't want your solution to be tailgating, but sometimes that's what you end up doing just because you get tired of it.
Totally.
Hey, what are you? I know you guys are you guys mostly hotel or Airbnb?
It actually depends on the area.
When
we were in Florida, we pretty much did all Airbnb, which we loved. It was almost like we moved in and it just felt like, I don't know, like a little retirement condo or something. You know what I mean? It felt like we kind of set up shop and this is our life down here now. But most other places we do hotel.
Yeah. If the shows are longer, I like an Airbnb where we have some of the best. God, I did La Quinta a couple of years back and I rented a condo. So it had its own hot tub and spa and pool and the show was superhuman, as far as like the hours went. It was over at 5. And I'm like, just rode my bike back and kind of spent a couple hours in the pool and the hot tub, just kind of hanging out before I walked down to get dinner. And it's like, man, this is okay. So this is what it's like to live here.
Yeah.
I love that kind of feeling. And I love kind of setting up shop as long as I'm doing well.
I don't know about you, but we actually appreciate having laundry, just laundry right in the place like that. And you can like just throw in a load of laundry like you're at home and not feel like you have to pack for a whole week or 2 weeks worth of clothes or something. That's our big thing about, we like to make meals too, it's not so much the cost. I mean, it is, but it's more for us just wanting to eat the things we like to eat to stay healthy and not fall off the wagon and just eat burgers every day or something,
Oh man, what else do we have on the list? I feel like I'm getting antsy to get back to work.
Speaking of Airbnbs, one of the last Airbnbs we stayed at, it was this little pool house that they had renovated, and they had
nice.
They had like 3 little buildings. One was probably like a garage, and they did it nice. I mean, it wasn't just like they put you anyway. And they had a pool that people could use who were staying there and blah, blah, blah. And so it was in between the shows. So we had a day or two where it felt nice to sit out in the Florida sun and be by the pool, except for the fact that it smelled like there was a gas leak or something. That smell of sulfur?
Yeah, that's not a good feature.
Right. So we're sitting there. We're like, Ernie's like, I'm sorry, I can't, eat lunch out here by the pool. I got to go inside. And I'm like, do you think that smells like a gas leak? She goes, it kind of does. So I messaged
Yeah.
the Airbnb people and they don't respond. I'm like, what the heck? I mean, what if there is an actual gas leak and
Yeah.
we've got all our, shit blown to smithereens? It's like, so anyway, I see the guy walking around at some point. I go, hey, did you get my message? And he says, oh yeah, no, that's fine. That's just the well. I'm like, okay. I'm thinking, don't drink the water.
Yeah, seriously.
If it smells
Did it
like
smell when you ran the water too?
It just stunk. It was I mean, it looked like a great place, but that sulfur smell was like, ugh. But then you don't necessarily want to leave a bad review either. It's like you don't want to be too honest because I don't know. Do you get really honest on those reviews or do you?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, I've never really had I've had a couple of bad Airbnbs. There was one that was comical I should pull up my Airbnb review in Memphis. It didn't have any, It looked like you look at the pictures and it's got a pool table and it's got these tall floor to ceiling windows that look down on downtown Memphis. And you've got the picture of the bedroom but you get into the place and it was like a renovated office building and it didn't actually have any bedrooms.
So it was total bait and switch or?
No, I mean, you walked, it did. I was like, okay, well, there's the pool table, but then the couch that they only had the corner of is one of these like pull out couches that it looked like they pulled it off the street.
Oh.
You couldn't sit on it. It looked like it had fleas. It was just a dirty old tweed couch. One of the bedrooms, our friend, guest of the show, actually, Betty Yeager stayed with us. And it was at a bunk bed in a closet. And you couldn't reach the bottom bunk because the ladder went out the door. And then you climb up the ladder, you had like this 20-inch gap to get into.
Oh my God.
And Betty's like 6 feet tall, so she's like, and so we've got the double bed and she's got the twin bed. And she's just, you can hear her laughing throughout the entire place of her trying to shoehorn her way up this ladder and down. And then you go around the corner and there was a bed just kind of in a wide hallway. And that was where the double was, with no doors whatsoever. And everything was open. And then the only bathroom in the place, it was like a gymnasium bathroom with like the shower set, but all the shower heads had been removed. And they had these like ridges where that outline where the stalls used to be. The only water spigot came out at knee height. So you couldn't take a shower and it didn't have a tub.
Weird.
So yeah, I ripped them a new one just because everybody else on there was like, oh my God, it's amazing. I got so wasted. And it's right next to Beale Street. And I don't know.
So did part of you like look at it and go, okay, I can see how this actually looks now that I'm here? But props to them for like taking these pictures and presenting it in a way that was like, okay, you got me.
They polished it. Really nice turd. Yeah, that was a very, and then like you've got the pool table in the corner and all the cues are broken and they don't have felt on them or warped. It was terrible. So yeah, I let them know.
Oh, yeah.
You should follow me on Yelp. I leave plenty of food reviews.
Okay. And you're
always
fully honest.
Always super honest about those.
Okay.
But I don't want you. Don't come into my restaurants with your 20 artist party. Not interested in that. Don't wreck it. Have a surprise. I always, what I call those when you have those surprise, like 20 artists want to go out to dinner.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's go out to dinner. It'll be so great. And then they spring a party of 20 on a restaurant, like a small restaurant. Like, it's like, surprise, we're having a wedding.
Yeah. And any of us who've worked in the restaurant business, we'll like look at them, I'm sorry, I know this is a lot. No trouble, don't worry. Whenever you get to it.
Hey, you get these artist friends who they'll surprise you with like, hey, you want to go to dinner? You're like, yeah, that sounds great. And you show up and you're like, there's 16 other people. And
me and a posse.
I don't want to go to a banquet. That's not, it's awesome if you get stuck with somebody you want to talk to, but
yeah.
Everybody's great. It's all part of the community. I'm just salty.
You are salty.
Bird killing bastard.
Well, at least you get invited to big parties there, Will. Not everybody does.
Well, you're always saying no.
That's true. I'm tired. Honestly, in my mind, I'm like, yay, let's go do this. But in reality, at the end of a day, I'm literally cramping. I'm like, my body's Charlie horsing. I can barely walk back to the hotel and stuff like that. If I am sitting out with somebody having dinner and we're having a conversation, they literally have to like witness me stop the conversation and go, oh, I'm like walking it off. And it's like, yeah, no, this is.
And then they'll tell you to eat a banana.
Eat a banana. It's like, okay. Fuck you and your banana.
Oh my.
And your magnesium pills and all that shit.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm special. I have a different reason
salty.
for cramping. So.
I know. Just a living, breathing cramp.
I am a...
Oh, man. Hey, so you were asking, too, you were talking about the 4 shows in a row. And I'm like, no, I never do. But I've got 2, and then my wife has 2. And you and Renee are a couple there, obviously. But you do the same work. But it's like you have to do twice as many shows, I feel like, in order to make the same amount as somebody else.
Yeah, so we'll have kind of a similar kind of a timeline here. So that was something I wanted to say to the listening audience as we try and do this monthly, but next episode it's going to be more like 6 weeks because we're not back until like middle of May. So
that's right.
We'll talk mid to end of May and get something out before the end of the month of May.
Yeah, you've got a couple in, or just one in the can, I think.
Yeah, I've got a conversation that I had in December with Amanda Out called.
Amazing.
I've known her from just, being neighbors at shows and stuff, but, finding out about her history and her, she had some brain stuff going on, and it's really an interesting story. And I don't remember the details, so I can't wait to actually listen to it and go back and edit it and get it ready for the show. But that was my takeaway. You sound
like me. Yeah, if I do it 2 or 3 months out of the time, I'll be like, who would be great to have on the show? I'll be like, dude, you already talked to him.
Like,
them. Come on.
You already talked to Mark Winter and talked about rattlesnake heads and all that stuff. So.
Heck yeah. I want to talk to him again. I haven't seen that dude in a while.
I had the funniest conversation with Mike Hayes. I think it's kind of human nature when we're at shows and we go to talk to our friends and say, hey, how's your show going? It's, it's polite and blah, blah, blah. You get the reaction from some people. It might be, that's good. It's going well, blah, blah, blah. But then you get this is the reaction that him and I were joking about. It's like you get well, and then they start if this happens and then that, and I'm waiting on this. And it's like the eternal optimist, right? We're thinking about all of the opportunities that we've got out there. And we're just hoping they come back, and we don't want to shit on them by being negative and saying my show's going
that's
shitty.
A show. Yeah.
Right. So it's like, so what we were joking about was you say to somebody, how's your show? And they start well, and it's like, we can just cut our friends off and say, enough said. Gotcha. Same place. I totally know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It is funny. Like we get, and you and I do it too, where I'm like, I don't want to hear it. I already know it.
Enough.
I already know that part. It's like, well, how was
skip
Florida?
The dance.
Well, my neighbor did not do very well, but my other neighbor did very well, and I did okay. And this person over, I'm like, so it was a show.
It was a show. That's right.
That's exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also, you put these, I don't know, whatever. Some shows are not shows. Some shows are better.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, buddy. I'm going to go get some more work done, if that's cool with you.
Too.
I think we've talked to the people. We've done it, right?
We can mark that off the list. And now I am not editing this. I'm sharing it as is because I have no time to cut.
Do it. Honestly, I think we're tight. I think it's tight.
That's right. It's tight.
All right, brother. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by the National Association of Independent Artists. The website is naiaartists.org.
Also sponsored by Zapplication. That's zapplication.org. And while you're at it, find us on social media and engage in these conversations.
Be sure to subscribe to this podcast to be notified when we release new episodes.
Oh, and if you like the show, we'd love it if you would give us your 5-star rating and offer up your most creative review on your podcast streaming service. See you next time.